After a short pause, Russia has resumed attacks on Ukraine using Iranian Shahid kamikaze drones. The Ukrainian Air Force has been very successful in shooting down these drones. So, could you explain the main challenges when intercepting the Shahid drones?
So successful, but still, as we think, not successful enough. Will be successful enough when our kill ratio will be 100%. Unfortunately, now it's about 80-70% or something like that. And that's why we are trying to get as much air defense aid as it possible to do this job as efficiently as it's necessary to do. And about challenges, it's a very difficult kind of target for both ground-based air defense and for fighter jets, especially for fighter jets. So we are using all means, all aids of air defense, starting from the just the usual machine gun mounted on the vehicle, on even civilian pickup, and up to the serious air defense systems and fighter jets. And all of that actually work to intercept as much as it possible. But still, it's very challenging because it's very small and slow flying target, and it's pretty difficult to detect that, to identify that, and to lock and to hit using the standard air defense weapon and the air-to-air weapon on board of our jets.
The West finally started supplying air defense systems to Ukraine, and but not still fighter jets. However, for effective defense against both drones and cruise missiles, a multi-layered air defense system is needed. Please explain the role of fighter aircraft in this context.
Yeah, so actually we need everything. We need everything, as I mentioned before, just starting from the machine guns and up to fighter jets, modern fighter jets. The role of fighter jet in this air defense environment, in this air defense warfare is crucial, because any fighter unit is very mobile. So you could engage fighter jet everywhere, not just waiting when the target will come in your area of responsibility. I mean, area of engagement of some ground-based air defense. So you're able to engage fighter jets on the some border areas, and to intercept it as quickly as it possible, and of course with larger range of engagement. So now, unfortunately, we are forced to intercept them around the country, trying to catch them in the central part of Ukraine, in the western part of Ukraine. And of course, it's not efficient enough. So we want to intercept them on our border, or on the front lines, depending on the place of their launch. And actually, it's the same with cruise missiles and with drones. In defensive meaning, fighter jets are very mobile and flexible. And of course, it will increase the probability of interception of any type of threat in our airspace, because no ground air defense system couldn't provide the 100% rate of interception. So all this means together work to increase it as higher as it possible.
Slovakia intends to transfer its MiG-29 to Ukraine, but Air Force spokesman Colonel Yuri Ignat said that this would not solve all the problems of the Ukrainian Air Force conference. Let's dwell on this in more details. And so what challenges does the Ukrainian Air Force face when operating legacy Soviet fighters?
Actually, it won't solve. First of all, it won't solve the quality issue, the capability issue, because it's only a solution for a quantity issue. So it's almost the same jets as we have. It's slightly modernized with some Russian systems, modern Russian systems, with some NATO systems, but still the major capabilities are absolutely the same as we have. The same missiles, almost the same radar, and other systems. So it wouldn't give us any new capabilities. It's just will help us to maintain more jets airworthy and to provide both functions. I mean, air defense functions, interception functions, and for example, an engagement of harm missiles on the front lines as well. So it's a good solution. It's helpful, but it won't solve the main problems of Ukrainian Air Force at the moment.
We know that there is a lack of parts of these jets. Could you tell about this in more details?
So first of all, we have few companies, domestic companies, aviation repair plants, which are producing some parts for these types of jets. Of course, not all of them, but pretty much of them. And using that, we are trying to maintain our jets, and we are doing that pretty successfully without Russia help during actually 8 years of war. And now using the supplied by the NATO countries parts, it's of course it's even better, because sometimes these parts from our allies could be even better than original systems, for example. So using together the domestic produced parts and supplied by the Western countries, we are trying to do our best to keep our jets airworthy, and also to refurbish more and more jets from our storages.
So now Russia uses long-range Air-37M missiles in air combat. Russian propaganda claims that this missile, which is launched from MiG-31BM or Su-35S, can fly 400 kilometers. And in this way, they say that they destroyed many Ukrainian aircraft. So how true is this, and how do Ukrainian pilots cope with these threats?
So it's definitely not 400 kilometers, and they are definitely not successful against our jets during these months, during this war. But still, this missile is extremely dangerous for our jets, for our helicopters, for all our aerial assets. And of course, due to this missile, unfortunately, sometimes we are forced to sees our missions. I mean, offensive missions of our bombers, of our ground attack jets, and trying to perform some defensive maneuvers. So using the experience of this actually half of year of this threat, we created different tactics and techniques how to avoid this missile, and that's why it's not so effective, it's not so successful against our jets. But still, we don't have anything to answer, first of all, and in case of you're not aware of this of launch of this missile, you're dead. So it's very dangerous weapon, and that's why modern fighter jets, Western fighter jets, are such a crucially important priority for our Air Force to hold the line against these jets, including the jets with R-37 capability.
Actually, I wanted to ask you about tactics. Western experts note that Ukrainian pilots have been successfully more than Russian adversaries, as they have effectively combined Soviet and Western approach and tactics and equipment. Could you tell us how this approach works and how you incorporate new ideas?
So unfortunately, we don't have any Western equipment, first of all. So we are using only some tactics and techniques, Western tactics and techniques, and only harm missiles. Talking about equipment, all the Western equipment what we have, it's only harm missiles, AGM-88. But for all spectrum of other missions, of other tasks, we don't have anything. I mean, Western stuff, and that's why we are limited. We are limited in our capabilities, and of course, in our maneuver, in our kind of operations, we are succeeding because our pilots are highly proficient, highly trained to do that. But still, we can't compare that with Russian pilots, with Russian operations, because their capability are higher because of their technical advantages. It's not correct enough to tell that we are more successful than Russians. It's not correct, actually, because a lot of factors are working, and unfortunately, their long-range missiles and different other weapons are working good enough to press our infantry. Unfortunately, their Air Force are also pretty successful in their missions. Of course, with the great losses, but still, unfortunately, they are capable enough. And it's a great challenge for our Air Force. I mean, both ground air defense and fighter aviation as well. We are doing our job as better as we can, but still it's not enough.
So Ukraine needs Western jets. And could you tell us, please, about advantages of Western designs compared to Soviet one?
Yeah, so still we are talking about two major kinds of missions, defensive missions. I mean, interception of any aerial threats, and like a counter-offensive capabilities. So for defensive missions, of course, Western jets are equipped with much more capable radars and much more advanced missiles. I mean, air-to-air missiles. And also, their jets use very advanced data link systems, which are providing good informational awareness about the situation in the air. And all these capabilities give us a chance to be much more effective, securing, covering our peaceful regions against these Shahid drones and cruise missiles and maybe even bombers. And if Russians will try once more to penetrate our air defense systems, it will increase our kill ratio, our probability of interception of everything, and at the same time, it will give us capability to use standoff precision guided weapon, and at the same time, it will give us capability to use standoff precision air-to-ground weapon against Russian troops, and also to escort our attacking jets much more efficiently. And in general, all our counteroffensive operations will be much more effective and much safer. So now our ground attack jets, our bombers are forced to use only unguided weapons, and it's not precise enough, it's not effective enough, and it's very dangerous to engage. And that's why we need something much more advanced for this kind of operations. And of course, we need to secure them from the Russian fighter jets as well. So all of these capabilities should be much better using the Western jets, Western systems on board.
If we are talking about American F-16 jets, which are operated by most of NATO countries, then what are their advantages and disadvantages compared to French Rafale, Swedish Gripen, and the multinational Typhoon?
Yeah, so actually, any modern Western jet is just a platform for some sensors, for other systems, for weapon systems. But we need to understand that it's a very complicated solution. It's very complicated to supply any nation with the fighter jets. And there are a lot of different factors. But in our case, we need both. We need quality and we need quantity. And that's why F-16 is one of the most realistic scenarios for us, because of first of all of global availability on the market. So it's okay to use actually used fighter jets from other nations, because you can install new systems, you could modernize these jets, and it will be still capable enough. And you need just these airframes, and you need to have an ability to maintain them and to sustain them. So F-16 is one of the best options due to its availability and sustainability, and also with good enough capabilities. So actually, the tactical capabilities are almost equal with other jets. So it depends only on exact system which is installed in the jet. But in general, this platform is equal to another ones. So I can't tell you that some of these jets itself is better or worse, but as a most realistic scenario, I think that F-16 is our priority. But still, it's up to the Western governments to decide what to provide to us.
Of course. So F-16 is a multi-role fighter bomber. Could you explain, please, our audience what kind of munitions it can carry, what kind of targets it can hit, and what various roles it could play in this war?
Yeah, so it's one of the most multifunctional jets in the world, and first of all, for our primary air-to-air missions, it's equipped with good radars. Of course, depending on modification, on exact modification, but with good enough radars, and with air-to-air missiles, very capable actually, and it's equipped with one of the most advanced in the world air-to-air missiles, AIM 120 MRAM, and it's very capable. It's a combat-proven solution, so it's definitely what we need to intercept all kinds of aerial threats, starting from the Shahid drones and up to the Russian fighters. And talking about the counteroffensive capabilities, it can provide suppression of enemy air defense. It can provide the airstrikes and close air support missions and reconnaissance. Everything you need. It's just like a Lego kit. You could put everything on board. You can put different targeting pods. You can put anti-radiation missiles. You can put air-to-ground missiles, long-range air-to-ground missiles, guided bombs, GPS-guided bombs, laser-guided bombs, or even harpoon missiles, anti-ship missiles. So it's a great platform to use all kinds of Western weaponry on board.
How long do you expect it would take to integrate F-16s into the Ukrainian Air Force? I mean, both conversion training time for Ukrainian pilots and setting up the infrastructure and personnel to maintain these fights in Ukraine.
So it's pretty complicated to say exactly, but talking with our U.S. partners, we make a forecast for that. It's from 3 to 6 months to integrate that for the primary readiness, combat readiness for our main functions, main missions. But of course, it's more to provide, for example, domestic training process and other stuff. So for our primary tasks right here, right now, I think it's about 3 months.
Some Ukrainian pilots have already flown American fighter aircraft during exchange duty tours into the United States. So tell us, please, about this experience.
Starting from the 90s, Ukrainian Air Force was sending our pilots for different kinds of training. Sometimes it's just staff courses, leadership courses, and sometimes it's full basic pilot trainings. So we have some pilots with an experience of this basic level of U.S. standard basic pilot training, and of course it's incredibly useful in the moment because they are absolutely ready to get in F-16 and to fly it with no issues at all. And also we have some pilots, including me, with an experience of familiarization flights on F-15s or F-16s during the corporation events, during the exercises. So, for example, I have an experience of the flight on F-15D model jet in California in Fresno Air National Guard Unit 144 fighter wing, and it's also a very useful experience. So after these flights, we know much more practically. We know much more about their standards of radio communication, of training process, of preparation, pre-flight preparation, etc., etc., etc. So it's much easier for us to be trained to any Western platform, just because it's pretty familiar for us. And of course, we after these flights, we taught all these points, all these issues to our other guys. So all of our personnel, all of our pilots, they understand something about the Western methods of pilot trainings and of the operations. So in general, we are ready to be retrained, and we have enough English-speaking pilots to do that. So I think all of these events, international events, were very, very useful for us, especially nowadays. It's obvious.
Thank you, Джус. Thank you for your time.
Thank you too.